Make America great again. How many of you are still kind of in shock that Donald Trump was elected president?
Everyone.
Now, let's be honest. If you read the newspaper, if you heard the media, radio, TV, everybody told us it couldn't be done. Everybody told us the Republican Party was at war with itself. Everybody told us that Donald Trump would never win, and he's too racist and sexist and every other bad word you could say. But you know what? Not only did he win, he won the Electoral College by a huge margin. So I know we're here today celebrating the victory, a great victory for America, a great victory for freedom, a great victory for liberty. We're celebrating the end of the Clinton machine, hopefully for good. But I want to remind you of one thing. There is still a major portion of the Clinton machine left over in Virginia. It's the last place in the country where the Clinton machine continues to roll forward. And that's here in the governor's mansion, Terry McAuliffe. And next to Terry McAuliffe the entire time, next to him during the years of a bad, slow economy, to the years of budget shortfalls, through the years of businesses and jobs leaving Virginia and going to North Carolina, to the years of nothing but the only new business coming in being craft breweries, was Ralph Northam, the lieutenant governor. And Ralph Northam now wants to be the governor of our Commonwealth for the next 4 years. So let me ask you this. How many of you want to continue 4 more years of the Clinton machine running Virginia? No. Absolutely not. How many of you want to continue to have jobs leaving our state and going to other states because our tax rate is so high? No. How many of you want Ralph Northam, who basically is Terry McAuliffe's clone, to be your next governor? No. So the good news is we have a crop of candidates running on our side right now. We have 4 candidates for governor, 3 candidates for lieutenant governor, and 3 for attorney general, any of which are better than Ralph Northam and Mark Herring. And by the time we get to January 1st, 2017, the Republican Party of Virginia and the Republican Party of Fairfax County will already be doing what we're doing. We had a great meeting. Matt Ames and I had a great meeting tonight at the Fairfax County headquarters, already planning for winning next year. And I'll tell you what, one of the things that scared me the most, and this is what Matt Ames pointed out the other day, and that is, of the 200-some-odd-thousand votes that Hillary Clinton won Virginia by against Donald Trump, 197 plus came from Fairfax County. If we are going to win Virginia in 2017 and 2018 and beyond, it's going to take new communities. And I want to make it very clear to you all that as the chairman of the Republican Party of Virginia, every single person in this room is an American. Every single person in this room is welcome in this country. And every single person in this room and everybody in your community is welcome in the Republican Party. Because without you, we cannot win elections in this Commonwealth. So I make my promise to you is this. This party, as long as I am chairman, will welcome you, as I've said. This party will respect your opinion, will respect your culture, will respect your heritage, will respect your contribution to Fairfax County, to Northern Virginia, and to Virginia as a whole. And I know working arm in arm with Matt Ames, who's a great chairman of Fairfax County, and with the great friends I have here, good people like Charlie Hernick, who ran a great race for the 8th District, we can win Fairfax County again, but we need your help. So you with us next year? Thank you so much for having me again. I'm sorry I sound a little crazy, but really a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me, and God bless you all.
First, I'm going to recognize some guests from the Vietnamese American community of Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. And then I'm going to invite Mr. Matt Ames, Chairman of the Fairfax County Republican Committee. Among us today, we have Mr. Đinh Hùng Cương, who is the Chairman of the Vietnamese American Community of Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Mr. Nguyễn Văn Tăng, President of the Coalition of former Army of the Republic of Vietnam service members. Mr. Tăng. And then now we would like to hear from Mr. Matt Ames, because we are in Fairfax County, so we will have to guide him for us next year.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. And Chairman Whitbeck said an awful lot, and I don't want to repeat a whole lot about what he said, but I guess I'd like to start with maybe a little personal story in terms of my appreciation, especially for the Vietnamese community here in Fairfax County, because I know, I don't think anybody who was born and grew up in this country can really appreciate what the Vietnamese community has gone through in terms of coming to this country and building new lives here. So, you know, we know that it has been difficult, but that you also succeeded. And I have great admiration and respect for that. And a little personal story I thought that you might appreciate is that in 1987, my wife and I had just finished law school, and we moved into a little house in Annandale, not too far from here. And our neighbors were Vietnamese, right next door. And we'd been living there for a few years, and we didn't really know much about them or what they were, what the family was doing, especially the husband was doing in terms of making a living. But we figured that he was in some kind of a service business because there were things being delivered there, and they were like cleaning supplies and that sort of thing. And we knew that he was doing well because he'd been driving a car, sort of old for a while, and then one day he started driving a Mercedes. And so my wife called him, but we didn't know their names. I mean, we sort of waved to each other, and I feel kind of sorry about that now. But we waved, and we were, you know, very polite and friendly. So we didn't know the name. So she called him Mr. Mercedes, so that was her name for him. And then a few years later, we figured that the business must have been doing really well because they moved out. So we didn't see the Mercedes anymore. We didn't see Mr. Mercedes. And another Vietnamese family moved in. And the interesting thing about this for me was that I was at the time, this was in the early 1990s, I was working in the Bush administration downtown, and you know, some nights I would have to stay late, and sometimes the cleaning crew would be coming around while I was still working. And one night I looked up from my desk, and walking into my office to clean my office was my new next door neighbor, who was a Vietnamese who'd probably been hired by his cousin or a relative or a friend in his business. And I don't know anything about my neighbor's background in Vietnam, but I know that many people had professional positions, high positions of various kinds, and had to come here and do that kind of work, but obviously succeeded as well. And so I have enormous admiration, and also my friends, you know, Tuan Dang is not here, but also Ando and other people that I've come to know and respect in the Vietnamese community have all really led remarkable lives. I think it's both a tribute to America, and I appreciate so much why it is that the Vietnamese community has become so patriotic. And appreciative of the benefits that this country offers, but at the same time, it's a tribute to the Vietnamese community and all of you and all of your friends that you were able to go through whatever difficulties that you went through before you came here, and then have built completely new lives. I don't know if I would have been able to do that. I think many of us really don't know what we can do until we're faced with it, but I have great respect, and I would like to thank all of you for the patriotism that you've shown, for everything that you have contributed to our society, and not just, you know, you as representatives of the entire Vietnamese community here in the DC area and across the country. I just wish that more Americans understood and appreciated the sacrifices that you all have made, both in coming here and then in building your life. So thank you very, very much for all of that. A few brief words about politics. As the chairman said, you know, again, thank you. I'm very, very excited about the new Trump administration. I was very encouraged the week before last when Paul Ryan had just had his press conference, and it seems very clear at this point that between Vice President Pence and Speaker Ryan and the new president-elect, we have a really good working relationship, and we can do some really important things to move the country forward and make the kinds of changes that the people want. And this is a case where the people have I think we know the people need change, we want change, and what we want to make sure, more than anything, is to protect the kind of America that has made it possible for all of you to be successful. And so that's what we are all fighting for on the side of the Republican Party, and we are going to continue to fight for that. And as Chairman Whitbeck said, we still have a fight to face coming up this coming year in Fairfax County and in Virginia, and we hope that our friends from DC and Maryland will be able to help in any way you can. And you know, this is the eye of the storm. This is the tornado that hits every year here in Fairfax County with the Democrats, with the strength. And you know, there are good people in Fairfax County, and it's unfortunately vote Democrat. They're just a little confused. So we're going to keep working with them so that they're no longer so confused. And I hope that you will come out and keep working for whoever our nominees are this coming year. Because I don't recall if the chairman mentioned this, but in terms of future elections, the governor's race is absolutely critical, because in 2020 we'll have a new census. And we'll have new districts drawn for Congress and for the General Assembly, and that will set the stage for who continues to control the legislature and other offices here in Virginia going forward. And the last thing I'd like to mention particularly, is that we're very grateful for the support of the Vietnamese community in the meals tax fight that we just had. I think everyone knows that. We worked really hard to get the word out to all the restaurant owners, and I know that a lot of the restaurants had signs out saying no meals tax, and a lot of Democrats crossed over and voted against the tax because it was a bad idea, and it was going to hurt small business owners. It was going to hurt their families who were working in the business. We tried to make this point to people. Rich Democrats who basically, when they go at a dinner, they're thinking that, well, they're paying for, $50 bottles of wine and all these other things. And, the owner of the restaurant isn't there all the time because he's a chef and he's running 3 restaurants, and, he's basically a big business executive. And they don't understand that if you're, Vietnamese or Korean or Chinese, and this is what you found as a way to make your living here in America, that it's you and your wife and your children who are running that place, and your profit is what you're living off of when you're not working at the restaurant. And if you take away a significant portion of that small profit in a highly competitive restaurant industry, you're hurting real people who are really just doing the best they can to get by. And the Democrats, I think, have lost sight of a lot of the practical reality of how the world works. But we were able to stop them on that with your support and the help of a lot of other people. So we're all very grateful for that as well. So with that, as a politician, I could stay all day and keep talking to you. But there are other people that have to talk, and I'm sure people will be hungry. So I just want to thank you all very, very much for electing Donald Trump and all the help you've provided to the party over the years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ames. Next, I'm going to recognize some guests, and then we would like to hear from Mr. Curtis Anderson, Chairman of the Republican Mason District. Among us today, we have Ms. Minh Nguyệt, Vice President of the Vietnamese American Community of Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Ms. Huỳnh Trúc Nương, President of the Vietnamese Women in the Washington, D.C. area. Ms. Anh Tu Do, who is very active and very efficient in helping getting us the victory for him today. Ms. Do is also the mother of Daniel Do, who just cited the Pledge of Allegiance. Very active family. Also, I would like to acknowledge Mr. Han Nguyen, Virginia Coalition Director for Republicans, Mr. Matthew, Republican activist. And now please, Mr. Anderson.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you for having me here. I am Curtis Anderson. I'm the GOP chair for the Mason District, which is part of Fairfax County. You're just outside of Mason District now, but thank you all for being here and for inviting me. Mary Ray in particular, thank you for inviting me. And I'll tell you a little bit about Mary Ray and what she does for me in Mason District in a little bit. I also want to thank Ann Doe and Daniel for helping out, and it's always good to see you. Ann used to be in a precinct of mine in Mason District, and then she decided to move three blocks away and moved over into a different district, but she was a great precinct chair, and she was a precinct captain for me. I wanted to thank all of you for what the Vietnamese American community has done for us here in Mason District and in Fairfax County. We had you out there at back to school nights. We had you there working inside the polls on election day as volunteers, poll watching, as paid election officers. I had you out there working outside the polls as greeters, greeting voters as they came to the polls. And Mary had a couple of stories she could relate about what happened in her particular area. But you also were out there at Eden Market. And I should point out, I live in the Seven Corners area, so I go to Eden Market quite a bit. And so I've seen people out there, and thank you for working in Eden Market and doing the Vietnamese festival. I know Ann had some work with us in there trying to get that Vietnamese festival going. Just a couple things about Mary. Mary Ray was my Hummer Precinct captain. Hummer Precinct is the Fred Packard Center. She called me up and said, I want to work, I want to get this precinct going. And she called me up, and so we had a few volunteers ready to go. And she got out there first one in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, set up the table. She worked outside greeting people, particularly Vietnamese and other Asian Americans who were there. And then she went inside and did some poll watching for us. And work like that really makes a difference in elections. And so, Mary, thank you so much for all your help. I want to talk about, I was over at the Mason District Center. Mary had mentioned absentee voting. You can do absentee voting by mail, or you can go in person to places like the Mason District Center and do your absentee voting in person. I was out there quite a bit, and it was always great to see members of the Vietnamese American community coming to vote and giving me the thumbs up as they went by our table with the Trump signs on it, the Charles Hernick signs, with the Bart Comstock signs, with the no meals tax signs, the whole bit. So it was great and encouraging to us to have people from the Vietnamese American community to come by and do their absentee voting and show us their support for our candidates and our positions. I wanted to talk a little bit about how the Vietnamese community is really showing itself now in the U.S. You're all aware, of course, the first Vietnamese American elected to Congress was in Louisiana a few years ago, and Joe Cao. That was elected as a Republican in a Democratic district. It was a special election and somewhat of an upset, but it was really a great start getting involved in electoral politics at the federal level. Unfortunately, you also elected someone just recently, a Vietnamese American, who is a woman down in Florida. The name is Stephanie Murphy, and congratulations to you for getting involved. She is a Democrat, but the fact is her community is getting involved, and that's what we want to see. And we want to be able to reach out to you and have you reach out to us to say, how can we make a difference? We have, I brought with me some of these cards that the Fairfax County puts together. It's called the Virginia Republican Creed. On one side it's in English, on the other side it's in Vietnamese. You also have it in Korean and Chinese and Spanish. But they're here for you to take on your way out. But it talks about what our values are. And I think the values that we have are the same values that all Americans have, no matter what community they're from. that the free enterprise system is the most productive supplier of human needs and economic justice, that all individuals are entitled to equal rights, justice, and opportunities, and should assume their responsibilities as citizens in a free society. A free society. That fiscal responsibility and budgetary restraints must be exercised at all levels of government. That the federal government must preserve individual liberty by observing constitutional limitations. That peace is best preserved through a strong national defense. And that faith in God, as recognized by our founding fathers, is essential to the moral fiber of the nation. I hope you'll find that those are the same values that you have that we espouse here in the Republican Party in Virginia. And I encourage you to take one of these when you leave. Matt mentioned what happened here in Fairfax County. We won on the meals tax issue in every single magisterial district. Even in Mason District, which is the most Democratic district in the county, the meals tax, no, won. And we thank you all for getting out there and telling your relatives and your friends, no matter what community they were in, to vote no on the meals tax. The other thing that we did win in Fairfax County and across the state was the vote on Constitutional Amendment number 2, which was about giving property tax relief to the surviving spouse of a first responder. And it went overwhelmingly, we won that in every single magisterial district in Fairfax County, and thank you for that. I want to tell you a couple things that you may not know, and that is what's happening at the national level, what this meant to the Republican Party. Republicans now control 69 of 99 state legislatures. For the first time in nearly 100 years, for example, Republicans control the Kentucky House of Representatives. Republicans picked up 3 governorships, and for a total of 33 Republican governors nationwide. That's a record. There are now 31 Republican lieutenant governors, 29 Republican states attorney general, and 31 Republican secretaries of state. And John Whitbeck had talked about the polls, and I want to emphasize to you, many of you who may have been watching the polls, I think we've proved that the elite media polls are wrong. There were only 3 polls which showed consistently throughout the whole election that this election was close. And keep an eye on those polls. The LA Times poll, the Investors Business Daily poll, and the Rasmussen poll. And at the end, in fact, the LA Times and Investors Business Daily showed that Donald Trump was going to win. And who won this election? Tom Pence. Isn't that a great news? Thank you very much. Everything else is said before, but I look forward to working with each of you, and please don't forget your cards when you leave today. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Punit Alowania. He is an advisor in the Trump Asian Advisory Board.
Folks, a great day today, we all won. That's a great feeling. I was honored to be appointed on Trump's advisory committee, and when I was there, I was not an Indian, I was an Asian. I represented the entire Asian community. With that, a big round of applause to the Asian community, please. I have been involved for the last 16 years in the Republican Party. I'm very proud and very honored to be part of the Republican Party. And I also want to recognize Ando, because she and I have kind of grown in this party for so many years. And can you please come here? Please. No, you have to come to the front. You see, there were a few folks when I joined the party, Welly Dietrich, Harold Payan, Ando, who were there with me to embrace me as family. We are a family, and we'll always stay as a family. But you know what? We're a Republican family. That's important. Thank you. And I also want to recognize our hardest working man in the state of Virginia is our chairman, John Whitbeck, who really worked hard. He understands the issues which are important to bring the party together. And most importantly, I'm very proud to say, my very good friend and my chairman, Matt Ames, because thanks to Matt Ames, he appointed an Asian American as his first vice chair. He realizes the importance of the Asian community. He realizes what how important we all are. Because the reason is our leadership, our participation is so key. And that's the reason what we want to do is, hopefully in the inaugural time, we can all make a big noise as an Asian American inaugural ball. I know we're all working together, and we are. And we're all working together as one family, and we're going to show to the entire world that we Asian Americans are more important and integral part of this great nation. We're going to support Donald Trump and his administration and the elected leaders of the Republican Party. With that, sir, I'm not going to keep going. Thank you. Thank you. My humble request to you all is, whenever there's a call for county party or elections, please participate. We need more folks from the Vietnamese, from different ethnic communities, Chinese community, Indian, Asian, all communities to participate. So I humbly ask you for your $50 contribution to the FCRC and become a part of it. With that, I also want to thank my friend Curtis for his leadership, and thank you all. You're all leaders because you are here. Thank you.
I will write a check and put it in the mail.
And I'll make sure I'll collect that check.
I would like to acknowledge also the media, Viet TV, television program of the Washington, D.C. area, a newspaper, Hoài Hương, by Ms. Minh Nguyệt, and also the Midnight Band. We will have the entertainment program after we eat. Before we hear from Mr. Đinh Hùng Cường, President of the Vietnamese American Community of D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, I would like to share with you a few things that I was doing to convince my friends to vote for Mr. Trump. When I was talking to my friends about who to vote for, and they asked me, who are you going to vote for this November? And I told them that I'm going to vote for Mr. Trump. And the lady said, oh, no, he hates women. And I said, wait a minute, he marries 3 women. he hasn't married any man. And you don't hate something if you have 3 of them, right? Well, those people were persuaded. But then they turned around and they said, oh, but he's a racist. I said, wait a minute, hold on there. His first wife was from Czechoslovakia. The second wife was from America. And the third wife, Miss Melania, is from Slovenia. So I think he's an equal opportunity husband. He did nothing anymore. And that's how I convinced my friend to vote for Mr. Trump. Now I would like to invite Mr. Đinh Hùng Cường to have a few words with me.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say a few words in Vietnamese first, and then I will come back in English. Kính thưa quý vị trưởng thượng, thưa quý vị quan khách, rất là hân hạnh cho tôi được có mặt ngày hôm nay, và chúng tôi xin bày tỏ lòng biết ơn tới quý vị đã tin tưởng, tín nhiệm cho chúng tôi làm việc. Thành ra chúng tôi rất hết lòng biết ơn quý vị. Và hôm nay là cái ngày mình ăn mừng của ông Trump, chúng tôi xin phép được nói bằng tiếng Anh. Tôi xin cảm ơn tất cả quý vị. Okay. It's a great honor for me to be here to celebrate the big winning for President-elect Trump. I appreciate Ms. Mary Chi Ray including me on this party. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Mr. Curtis Anderson and my Mason District. The government in Mason District helped us a lot. And then especially I am an absentee vote, and then I really appreciate the way you organize that. Thank you very much. And secondly, I agree with John Whitbeck. Mr. John Whitbeck told me nobody believed Trump will elect to be the next president of the United States. That is true. But the thing would happen. So we believe what the America want. The America want the honesty. And President-elect Trump, he proved his honesty. That's why all the poll, all the media fell before Trump. The honesty guy will be the next president of the United States, Mr. President Trump. To me, they have a very funny thing that we want to share with you. The Vietnamese American community believe it, strongly believe it. The Republican against the communists, stop the communists, helping the freedom, fighting the freedom. So in this new administration, we believe President Trump will fight for our freedom, democracy, and human rights in Vietnam. We strongly believe that. And the next thing I believe, a long time ago, our President Reagan, when he ran for the president, with a new beginning, he will make America great. And I do believe, Trump, you follow the step of Reagan, will make this country great again. So my last thing is, Trump, you do the big job, and then I will do the small job. But to me, no job is too big, no job is too small. Duty is first. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Demenko. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Charles Honig. He was running for the U.S. Congress this time, but probably the first time he was not successful yet, but you are in the right place and the right time.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity to say a few words. Yes, my name is Charles Honig. I was the Republican candidate here in Virginia's 8th District, and I didn't win. But that doesn't mean that we weren't successful. I was very proud to lead Republican votes in the 8th District compared to any other candidate, and break into Don Byers' otherwise secure victory and take 5% of the Democratic vote from him, and votes from independents, and votes from Green Party people. And that's what my early focus was, to reintroduce the Republican Party based on the principles articulated by Curtis Anderson, and so eloquently reaching out to every part of our community, including the Vietnamese, Latinos, East Africans, West Africans. John Whitbeck is right. This is a party for everyone. And we may have all been, well, we had our doubts as to whether or not Mr. Trump could win, but I wasn't surprised because of the level of commitment from people in this room that we are right on the issues. And when we were willing to talk to our neighbors and focus on the issues, many, many people understood. And that's fundamental to what we're doing. So congratulations, everyone. It feels good to have a victory. This was personal, wasn't it? So many of us have amazing stories that make us Republicans and make us willing to fight for those Republican ideals. And it's worth taking a moment, too, to remember that it was deeply personal for some of the people on the other side of the aisle. But this is our opportunity. A lot of people were hurt. Nasty things were said during the campaign. That happens. This is politics, right? But this is our opportunity to continue that reintroduction of our party, focusing on the policies, focusing on the issues. When it comes to the meals tax, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, everybody agrees where we need to be when it comes to taxation and the role of government there. Let's keep fighting. This is an opportunity. This is very exciting for us. We're about to establish a new government. Donald Trump will pull in people and experts from all across the country to create a new government. This is our chance to really roll out and speak to, again, our community about limited government, financial responsibility, growing the economy by focusing on small businesses. I was very excited to share a ballot with him. It was very exciting for me at that thing when I was able to vote for President Trump, vote for myself. And let's carry that excitement over into the next election. When we're looking at the governor's race here in Virginia, when we look further down the road to the next congressional cycle in a couple of years. I'm very proud of the race that I was able to run. I'm very happy that Mary Ray extended the invitation so I could come back and join you all here. Thank you for your support in this election. and let's keep working. Thank you very much.
Next, we would like to hear from Mr. Nguyễn Văn Tần, President of the Coalition of Former Urban Service Members.
Thank you, Dr. Hai. It is a big surprise for me. You guys don't expect me to use fan action in English language, right? But one thing I should point out today, besides our commander of the Vietnamese veteran in Virginia, Maryland, DC, I am the chairman of the Vietnamese American Community of USA. From the beginning, we don't worry about Trump, Mr. Trump, Lou or Wick. We support him from the beginning. I have proved that Ms. Trubner here had asked me to get permission to translate one of the articles from our member to support Mr. Trump. We thank you, and we like Republican. We trust Republican. We are hoping, because even I am an American citizen right now, I still be a Vietnamese from my heart. And our nation are in big trouble, as the chairman of the Vietnamese Committee respect. We are hoping, we have no right to influence the policy of President-elect Trump. But we are hoping that somehow America will stop the China before 2020. Now, please let me speak Vietnamese language with some of my Vietnamese over here. Thưa quý vị, thưa ông Đinh Hùng Cường, Chủ tịch Cộng đồng, chúng ta phần lớn những người Việt Nam đều ủng hộ Đảng Cộng Hòa và President Trump. Bởi vì chúng ta biết nếu thượng nghị sĩ Hillary Clinton lên, policy nước Mỹ vẫn như vậy. Chúng ta mong ước có một sự thay đổi lớn trong đường lối trong Nam Á, và bằng mọi cách phải ngăn chặn được Trung Quốc xâm lấn Việt Nam trước năm 2020. Đó là lý do cộng đồng người Việt quốc gia Hoa Kỳ cũng như Liên hội Cựu chiến sĩ Việt Nam Cộng hòa thành phố Maryland, Virginia đã quyết tâm ngay từ đầu, dù thắng hay bại, chúng tôi vẫn yểm trợ Đảng Cộng hòa và ông Trump. Cảm ơn quý vị, cảm ơn Thượng Đế, chúng ta đã thành công. We win. Chúng ta không quan tâm đến những lá phiếu đã xoay chuyển tình thế của tiểu bang Virginia. Chúng ta không quan tâm đến những tiểu bang chúng ta thua, nhưng chúng ta đã thắng và Mr. Trump đã trở thành President-elect.
Thank you.
You know what? I've already said a lot, but I'm going to say what says it all. President Donald J. Trump. Victory. Make America great again. Thank you so much. This is wonderful. I'm going to put this in our headquarters in Richmond to go with the many things that we have this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I would like to invite Mrs. Tu to give a similar gift to Mr. Matt Ames, Chairman of the Fairfax County Republican Committee.
Thank you. Oh my, this is, yes, that's Vietnamese American Republicans for Trump, President. Well, you know, we have a big basement and we have posters up there from different candidates. So this will definitely go, that's the room where everybody works, where we do the phone calls and everything. So this is wonderful. This is truly great. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
With victory, there are many, many foot soldiers. And I would like to take this opportunity to recognize some of them, like Mrs. Tuyết Ngọc Trần, giáo sư Kim Oanh, music teacher, Mr. Đăng Nguyên, who have been working tirelessly for the triumph of Mr. Donald J. Trump. Thank you very much. And now I would like to turn the entertainment program over to the Midnight Band, Mr. Fu.